The Fraser River has been home to Aboriginals for generations. Welcome back to Fraser Focus. I'm going to be exploring salmon fishing on the Fraser from two different angles. Next week, we take a look at the First Nations. This week, however, it's all about the recreational angler.
Fish don't bite when the sun shines.
They don't?
No, heavens no.
Good to know. That's why I've never caught anything. Got out on a perfect sunny day.
My family arrived in Canada in 1645, and we've been fishing since. So it is part of my family heritage.
We're clear.
They're doing sonar counting of the fish going upstream.
What that does, it gives them an indication of the size of the run, whatever the specific species is, and that indicates whether the fishery can stay open or has to close.
But what kind of fish are they monitoring?
We made some sockeye, wouldn't it, right now?
We have 5 species of anadromous salmon, which means they start in freshwater, move to the ocean, and then return to spawn. And most of the stocks have been going down, unfortunately, over the past few years, and there's probably a few reasons behind that. One is increasing temperatures through climate change, but it's also impacted in terms of the snowpack more or less being reduced, which lowers stream volume.
Just a drizzle.
It should be pointed out as well that looking at it from as far as numbers of anglers go, again, in years of abundance, particularly when the sockeye are running, it's estimated there could be from Mission to Hope, basically Chilliwack to Hope, over 5,000 anglers on the Fraser River fishing.
Thank you, gentlemen. So we can't tell what he's fishing on the side there.
He'll be fishing, it seems like a fairly big rod, but so he's probably fishing sturgeon from shore.
How is the share allocated between anglers, sports fishing, and the First Nations?
I should point out, of course, conservation is number one.
Of course.
If there's conservation concerns, nobody fishes. If there's an allowable catch, First Nations get an allocation, and then we get an allocation.
So it's fair, you would say?
Fair. We're all citizens of Canada. I guess you could question what is fair and what isn't, but as I said before, we have to respect the constitutional rights.
We're fishing because there's springs coming up right now. So
Is that salmon?
That is actually a piece of spring salmon.
That's the only bit of salmon I'm going to see today.
That's probably what we're all going to see.
Nobody's laughing.
We'll give them a 2.
2 out of 5, yeah? When we talk about getting along, we're living in Canada. It's a diverse nation. We've got the Aboriginal peoples here. There must be some kind of communication happening between the First Nations and the anglers.
Fortunately, yes. You couldn't say that a number of years ago, because a number of years ago there was significant animosity between First Nations and the recreational anglers, to the point virtually of fistfights and threats being made on the river. That culminated about 7 years ago in a very serious episode with one of the respected First Nations chiefs, which actually created what's called the Fraser River Peacemakers.
Hey guys, you got some native guys drifting down here. Can't they go around us? They probably could, but you guys anchored out a little bit too far. Just pull in and come on shore and fish with us.
Because you don't know what I'm catching. If I've got a rod in the water, I could be going.
We can't fish other than sturgeon.
But if I had a sturgeon rod out,
Then you're fishing for
then
sturgeon.
I'm fishing for sturgeon.
Yeah, different gear totally. 9/0 hook compared with the salmon hook of a 5/0, which is much, much smaller than this. The line, 135 to 150 pound test. Salmon would be 50 to 60 pound test. The rods are one piece, heavy duty, 9-foot rods. His rod is a very heavy rod.
Does it look like sturgeon, Tony?
Well, the rod does, the reel doesn't.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard to use a salmon fishing line on a sturgeon rod, would it?
You wouldn't have a hope landing it.
Oh, you see, there's my fishing knowledge right there.
Well, to me, the future looks bright if you can have the user groups come together collectively, have an understanding of what each other needs and wants, and to respect those wants and needs, and make good decisions for the future for all of our children.